You tell everyone not to make a big deal out of your birthday, and then spend the whole day quietly noticing whether they listened. Ever wonder why the people who claim they don't care about birthdays are actually the ones who care the most? Today, I'll explain what's really going on with birthday avoidance like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll understand exactly why your brain built this habit and what it's quietly costing you. It's your birthday, and someone asks what you want to do. You say, nothing really. Don't make a big deal. Maybe a small dinner, keep it low-key. And you mean it. Kind of. But then the day arrives, and somewhere around noon, a familiar feeling shows up. It's not quite sadness, and it's not quite disappointment either. It's something quieter than that. Something that feels like waiting for something that isn't coming. You're not sure what you were expecting since you told everyone not to do anything, and they listened. So why does it feel like this? Here's what you've probably told yourself. I'm just not a birthday person. I'm mature and I've outgrown that stuff. People who make a big deal out of their birthday are kind of embarrassing, right? And also, that's exactly what you'd say if this were working exactly the way it was designed to work. Your brain has a self-protection system built not for physical threats, but for emotional ones. And this system has one primary job: minimize exposure to disappointment. Because disappointment, to your brain, isn't just an unpleasant feeling. It's data. It's evidence about where you stand with the people around you. It's the answer to a question your brain has been quietly asking for years. Do I matter enough for people to show up? That's the real question underneath the birthday. Not will there be cake, but do I actually matter? And that question is terrifying enough that your brain developed a very elegant solution. Never ask it. If you don't want anything, you can't be let down. If you keep expectations low, no one can fail to meet them. If you make yourself easy, low maintenance, unbothered, honestly, don't worry about it. Then you never have to find out what happens when you actually ask for something and the answer is silence. Psychologists call this self-protective low expectations. But let's call it what it actually is: a way of never being the person standing alone at their own party. Here's where it gets interesting. Because your brain didn't invent this on your last birthday, it learned it much earlier than that. At some point, and it might not be a moment you can name, your brain learned that wanting things publicly was risky. Maybe it was a birthday that didn't land the way you hoped. Maybe it was something bigger. Maybe you asked for attention, or celebration, or acknowledgement once, and what came back was underwhelming, or quiet, or nothing at all. Maybe the people who were supposed to show up were distracted, or dismissive, or just genuinely didn't realize how much it meant to you, and your brain filed that away. This is called emotional memory encoding. Think of it like your brain's filing cabinet. It doesn't store the whole experience. It stores the feeling and the lesson attached to it. Wanting recognition equals possible pain. Filed. Locked. Running quietly in the background every year on the same day. Research in effective neuroscience shows that emotionally charged memories are stored with much stronger encoding than neutral ones, which is exactly why a single disappointing birthday can shape behavior for decades. Here's a concrete example of how this works. Think about the last time something good happened, and you almost picked up your phone to share it, and then quietly put it back down. That hesitation? Same cabinet, same filing system. Your brain learned to screen what you make public, and it does it so fast you barely notice the decision being made. So now you preempt it. You make yourself small before the day can do it for you. You say don't make a big deal because your brain has learned that making a big deal is how you find out the deal isn't that big. But wait, here's where it gets more complicated. Because this isn't just about protection anymore. It's about identity. Somewhere along the way, brushing off your birthday stopped being a defense mechanism and started being a personality trait. You wear it like a badge. Low maintenance, chill, doesn't need the fuss. And the more you wear it, the harder it becomes to take it off. Because now it's not just protecting you from disappointment, it's protecting your image of yourself. Psychologists call this identity-based avoidance. The behavior starts as a shield. Then it becomes the story you tell about who you are. And once it's part of your identity, questioning it doesn't feel like curiosity. It feels like a threat. Think about what that looks like in real life. You've probably met someone who makes a point of not caring about their birthday every single year. They bring it up, they mention it, they tell you unprompted that they just don't really do birthdays. They might even seem slightly annoyed when others celebrate theirs. That's not someone who doesn't care. That's someone who built their whole personality around not needing something. because some part of them really, deeply, quietly needs it. And here's the plot twist. The people who say they don't care about their birthday the loudest, they usually care the most. Not because they're lying, but because the louder the dismissal, the more work the brain is doing underneath it. The people who genuinely don't care don't bring it up. They don't monitor how the day goes. They just don't think about it. You're thinking about it. There's also something else happening here, and this one is subtle. When you say don't make a big deal, you're not just managing your own expectations. You're managing everyone else's behavior, preemptively. You're shrinking your needs before anyone else has to react to them. You're making yourself easier to handle, less demanding, less of a burden. This is the same mechanism that makes someone say, "I'm fine, don't worry about it," when they are very clearly not fine. It's a deeply learned habit of making your needs small so other people don't feel inconvenienced, and so you never have to watch them decide whether your needs are worth their effort. You're not being low maintenance. You're running a quiet calculation. What's the minimum I can want so that the answer can never really hurt me? Your brain is incredibly efficient. It decided, a long time ago, that a small, quiet birthday with no expectations was a much safer bet than a real one with real stakes. But here's what that protection costs you. Every time you preemptively shrink what you want, you never actually get the information. You never find out what would happen if you just let yourself want something out loud. You clear the field before the game starts, and then wonder, in that quiet, noon on your birthday kind of way, whether anyone would have shown up if you'd given them the chance. The protection doesn't just save you from disappointment, it saves you from evidence. And without evidence, your brain keeps assuming the worst, keeps filing the same lesson, keeps pulling the same move every year. That's the part nobody tells you. The avoidance doesn't just protect you in the moment, it keeps the fear alive. Because you never get to find out you were wrong. Every year the habit runs, it quietly reinforces the belief that made it necessary in the first place. It's your birthday again, and someone asks what you want to do. And you start to say, "Nothing really, don't worry about it." It's not maturity, and it's not being chill. It's your brain pulling the fire alarm on a building that isn't on fire. Because once, a long time ago, there was smoke. The alarm made sense when it was built. That doesn't mean it has to run every year. You don't have to throw yourself a parade. You don't have to announce your birthday to strangers. But you're allowed to want something. You're allowed to say, "Actually, I'd love dinner at that place." You're allowed to let the people in your life know what day it is, and let them decide what to do with that. Because here's the real question, and this one's worth sitting with. Do you think people who downplay their birthdays are protecting themselves from disappointment? Or are they actually protecting everyone else from the discomfort of having to show up?